The members of the group are Messi Villasís, Kerry Fiallos, Joana Jaya, Cristina Salazar, and my person, Araceli Andaluz. We are going to explain about the lesson planning Unit 1 and 2. Silence period. The learner designer up to the 6 and 9 months, not read to speak. Input hypothesis. The students progress when they are provided with language, the level and at a slightly more advanced level. Interaction hypothesis. The language is learned and developed through have face-to-face interactions, and negotiate meaning learned through mistake and corrections. The context language integrated learning. The language learned through context and in context of the regular class time.
Okay, the basic interpretation communication skills, you refer to linguistic skills in the everyday social face-to-face interaction. Vocabulary is the content is obligatory, compatible, collocations, curriculums, and vocabulary. Okay, the learning skills described to tasks involved in learning include time management, not talking, reading effectively, study skills, and writing tests. The effective filter is talking about the negative emotional resources to the student's environment.
What are the lesson plans? The lesson plans is an online guideline or plan. This lesson plan is the three stages: before, during, and after. Before is refers to the aims and must have a logical sequences and must be achieved. The during is the check-in time, and then after is the plan as a record. Next, goals versus objectives. The goals is refers to the final result or outline or interval brought on the objective. And the objectives refers to the area specific and how are going to achieve the goal. The objectives are more specific, measurable, and how short time. SMART. S is refers to the specific or what. M is refers to measurable on how much. A is refers to achievable how. R realistic how and which, and the time. T is refers to the time and or when. EYBAT it refers to the students we able to. Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to explain you a little bit more about the Bloom taxonomy. The Bloom taxonomy includes different ways of writing to connective objectives. As you see in that part, the first part we have create, then evaluate, analyze, apply, understand, and the last part, remember. Also, I'm going to talk about ABCD, about that is, for example, that we have to, firstly, we have to these steps before to make a lesson plan. It identify the learning objectives, the specific learning activities that you see in that part, plan to access the student understanding, plan to sequence the lesson in a great, engaging, and meaningful manner. But we have steps for a lesson planning that is different about the step before a lesson plan. As you see, is about A, B, C, and D. A is about audience level, B about behavior, C about a condition, and the last part that is D is about degree. In that part that mentioned the audience, it describes the people, for example, students, teachers, and another people too. Um, then we have behavior. Um, for example, in that part where students can do the activities, can read, can write, or can listen, and the behaviors are illustrated by the measurable about what the audience is learning, and the condition describe about the circumstances that will be learned or occur, and about the degree is quantity. In that part about the principles, we have expression, engaging, and representation, as mentioned before. They are the three main principles about UDL. That means that it has a meaning about representation. In that part, recommends that is offering information in more of one format. Then we have expression. UDL suggests to give kind of more than one way to interact with the materials to show they have learned. And the last part that is engaging about UDL encourage teachers to look for multiple ways to motivate our students. In that part, may mention the motivation that's very important to our students when we are teaching something new, because we have to put in practice our knowledges that the students, for example, have interest in the topic. They will learn. And about classroom examples about those principles is about the environment. As mentioned before, the environment is very important in classroom, because if, for example, if a teacher show a bad environment, obviously the students too will be disagree, or they couldn't like or study. And about group work is another classroom example, because we can work in groups too, or we can work in peers. That is very important. And the last part is the projects, where students can do too. So the teacher can visualize how was or how students learn during one period of time. Then we have multiple sensory lessons in the student-centered. The student-centered is very important, because the teacher need to be with the students, not all the time, but they learning.
The DOC is about a method it can use by the teachers. In DOC, we have recall and reproduce, extend skill and concepts, strategic thinking, and extended thinking. In other hand, we have ISTE method. ISTE has a lot of standards, 1 to 5 standards, and this is about digital relationship, digital age work, digital age learning, students learning, and professional roles. And also ISTE has a lot of steps. This is about engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. We have also a lesson plan, and lesson plan has a long, medium, and short. And finally, we have a perfect plan. It has 20 steps, and this is more helpful for all the teachers. And also we has our lesson plan, and this is for a primary school. The topic is about adjectives. We will work 55 minutes, and we have objectives. We have 4 objectives. The first is students will be able to identify 10 to 10 adjectives through a video. And this is more helpful for all the students because they can recognize to all the adjectives. It's more fun to all the students. The second objective is students will be able to create 5 to 5 sentences, describe one of their classmates through a thinking per thing activity. As well, students will be able to make a paragraph with 5 to 5 sentences they got from their classmates. And finally, students will be able to recognize 7 to 10 adjectives through a worksheet implemented by the teacher.
Then we have the assessment data, and other things. About the explore, the students will be curious with that topic because, as you know, that topic is about adjectives, where the students need to describe to other person. Then we have explain. We have different stages too. That is the scoping content. That means that the example that the students will be developed, sources, as you see that sources is a teacher. Then we have the language that it will be used, in this case English, the pedagogical method, teacher expectation that we have to acquire with our teacher.
Okay, the space. This activity will be done in the classrooms. The teacher activities, the word up, as the students pay attention what are adjectives, as the students to listen the video and they can recognize the adjectives in the video. The students activities were up, the students organize what are the adjectives, the students mention the possible adjectives that they could hear. This word up will be done in 5 minutes. The first activity, the teacher activities, they will organize in pairs, ask them about the adjectives from their classmates, and the teacher are going to be a monitor. The students activity, they must write adjectives of their classmates. And the second activity, write a paragraph about their classmates. Observe that the students are using the correct adjectives, and every student will have around the 1 minute to present. And the students' activities prepare and present a paragraph using different adjectives that they obtain about their classmates. This activity will be done in 20 minutes. And activity 3, evaluate the students with a worksheet. The student will have around the 10 minutes to complete the test. And the student's activity, a student will try to recognize and complete the activity with the correct adjectives. This activity will be done 20 minutes.
Okay, the homework. In the first links, enter to the link, and we will find a song in the which you can practice in the adjectives. Then the students send a video describing 3 of their relatives using the greatest number of adjectives. And finally, the students study the information in the next week test. Thank you so much.